G'day guys, and welcome to our video today on assessing a clinic, the quarterly reflections, looking at how we actually go through with a real clinic and look at some of the goals that they set, the actions that they had, or the critical drivers to achieve that, and then how we might think about that in terms of moving forwards and how can we tweak things for the next quarter. Right now, it is the 6th of April, hard to say, 6th of April. And so it is the end of Q3 fiscally here in Australia. Now, before I get into that, please make sure you do this one very important thing, two things actually. Please like and subscribe. It helps us to reach more people and to help more people and to have a bigger impact. And just one thing on that, we don't create these videos to try and play with the algorithm with how it jumps from piece to piece. We just want to provide real value for you that helps you as clinic owners to grow your clinic and to lead inspired teams. So without further ado, let's jump into the meat for today, my friends. Now, for those that read the email, what we did was we looked at a clinic and the clinic had these outcomes. They wanted a decrease in revenue during the school holidays of less than 12% when compared to the average revenue during school terms. And previously, it had been as high as 50 to 60% decrease at times, okay? An increase of one full-time equivalent therapist and a team NPS score above 8.5. NPS means Net Promoter Score, or how likely are you to refer working in this team to a friend or a colleague. Lastly, outstanding invoices below 8% of total revenue on a monthly basis. Now, what did we achieve? We had a 14% decrease in revenue compared to the average school term, so just missed out on the 12% there, close. And if you read the emails that you signed up to, if you're not signed up to the emails, you can sign up below. In that one, we looked at why did we miss that by 2% there? So we came very, very close, but what are we going to change next time? And hint there, if you're a pediatric clinic, we had a very heavy focus on some of the group stuff. We're moving it more towards the intensives. That seems to provide a much better result from a financial or fiscal perspective, but also the results that the families were getting and the willingness to attend those ones was much higher. Okay, so the effort involved in creating those programs was much less compared to the groups, and the reward was much higher. Makes sense. Now, the other results, we had an increase in 1 FTE therapists. However, we had one person leave and we had two therapists come in. Now, the ideal here would be that that one person didn't leave. And we also had a team NPS of 9. So from a team perspective, we were pretty happy. However, the feedback from that one therapist that left was they wanted the chance to be able to earn more money. And this current clinic, they don't have a reward system. So they're all on base salary. Now, there's nothing wrong with that per se, but we're actually going to take that feedback. And this is what I'm talking about, taking the feedback from what we've had this quarter to look into the next quarter, because it costs us a lot of money to lose a team member. Not only that, it's the time. You're losing a valued member of your team, a valued family member, basically, in a small business, someone who gets great results for the clients. Okay. So how can we help these people to want to stay longer? And realistically, people aren't going to stay in your business forever, realistically. But how can we help to extend that tenure? How can we help to move towards that forever? That's ideal. People who come, they never leave. You train them, they just get better and better. And that compounds year on year. It's that compound growth. Every year, they're going to get better. They're going to be able to deliver better results. They're going to be leaders within the team. And when you have a lot of experience in your team, it attracts more people who want to work in that team. And when you have low turnover, it also looks much more favorable when people are looking in. You got 10 people that have been there for 7 years versus 10 people that have been there for 6 months. People are going to look at that and go, well, why is everyone only short term here compared to everyone very long term there? Okay. So what we decided was that for the next quarter, we need to have a focus on creating a reward system. And it's not saying we can just go, boom, it's done. We need to put a lot of thought into it. How does it fit in line with the business strategy? How is it ethical? How are we going to actually explain this to the team so they can understand it? How do we make it so that it is completely viable and sustainable long term? And how can we do it so that it is as simple as possible? Because what we don't want is we don't want something to be as complex as it can be. And I've seen some reward systems, and I'm a maths geek, right? And I've seen some reward systems that are very hard to get my head around. Now, if you've ever read the book Drive by Daniel Pink, fantastic book, they talk about rewards, commissions, bonuses in that. And what they found was that if your reward system is too hard to understand for the average person, it's not an incentive, but it's also not just a nothing. It's a disincentive. People feel like you're taking advantage of them, like you're doing the wrong thing by them, like you're doing something shady because they can't really understand it and they can't hit it. Okay, so it becomes a disincentive. So think about that in your own reward system is how simple is it to understand? How transparent is it? And how easily can your team explain how the rewards work to you? Right? That'd be a great exercise to do with your team. Please explain the reward system to me, the commission system, whatever it may be. Okay. So that's helped us to decide on one of the key projects because what we want to do is we want to decrease turnover of team. And so we want the team to be able to have a higher earning capacity in the simplest form. Fantastic. Now, the last one, the outstanding invoices, we wanted to get that below 8% of total revenue on a monthly basis, and it ended at 10.3%. So it was a little bit too high. However, on the previous quarter, it was about, oh, I'd have to check it. It was about 12 to 13%. So we're seeing an improvement, but it didn't improve as much as we wanted it to. So over the next quarter, we're going to be refining the systems for following up outstanding invoices. We're going to be refining the onboarding process so that people have a better understanding of how invoices should be paid, when they should be paid, etc. And we're going to be allocating a little bit more time. There's one particular admin team member who's going to be following these up. So we're going to be allocating some extra resources there, an extra 2 hours per week in order to be recouping those invoices before they become outstanding invoices. Okay. One thing that wasn't on here was we call it an outstanding invoice being overdue at 28 days and then greatly overdue at 60 days. And the number that were 60 days or over had reduced to almost nothing. So that part of the system had gone really well. And so whilst you don't always necessarily hit those targets, the things that you're doing along the way can greatly contribute to the value and the sustainability of the business itself. So that's what we're looking at doing from that data moving into the next quarter. And we've set some specific targets there and also looking at what are the critical drivers, what are the things that we need to do, and what are the resources that we need to allocate in order to make this a reality. All right, my friends, I'd love to hear in the comments below, was this useful to actually go through a real life example of a clinic here in Australia and some of the quarterly goals we set, how we plan to achieve them, reflecting on what happened, and then how we take that information to project out for the next quarter and what are we going to do to continue to move forwards and create a sustainable, profitable clinic that supports the clinic owner, the team, and the community. All right, my friends, have a fantastic day, and I'll see you next week.